All right, what up, YouTube? This story right here. This is after I fucked off the first time from high school. I got kicked out of Grant. Ended up getting locked up playing at Kilpatrick. Fucked off that way of getting a scholarship. Get out of Kilpatrick. Come home. Yeah, I come home. Because I went there twice. And all right, the second time I went there, I graduated from high school and shit from there. And so one of the ladies, one of the ladies that worked in the school office knew somebody up at Bakersfield Junior College. So she ended up hooking me up with the coach, sent them one of my game films and shit. That's that hot coffee. And so when I got out, let me take it back first. First, when I was in camp, there was this white dude named Gene, right? He said he was a film producer that Mr. Barr used to come bring up like every Wednesday. And Mr. Barr, he was like, he was in charge of all the programs and shit up there. He had a couple programs where UCLA students would come up and tutor us. What the hell is that school? The Waves. They got a good volleyball team. Fucking one of the Tamara and Tia sisters went there. It's in Malibu somewhere. Fuck. Starts with a P. I forget what it's called. But they're the Waves and shit. Anyway, they would come up there, tutor us too, some of the students. Female students too, so motherfuckers used to always try to be on their best behavior, so you go over there and get a female tutor and shit from Mr. Barr when he had tutoring programs. So anyway, for a few people that he fuck with, he was like an older white dude. He had like, he would take me to the weight pit after school. He would call me out early with a couple other kids, like two other kids. When he would go lift weights, he would take us 4 days a week. And then he had another program, or he had another shit I was in where he had, all right, this is where Gene come in. Gene was a white dude, a film producer. I don't know if this was his community service or what, but he would come up to the camp and he would set up his video camera and shit, kind of on some weirdo shit now that I think about it. And he would give us situations, like he would be like, man, let's do whatever you guys want. So we would come up with ideas like, man, help us practice job interviews, help us, and then we'll go back, we'll record it, go back and watch it to see how we can improve and shit like that. Stuff that can help us when we get out. So it was like, all right. So anyway, I get out the second program after the 15 months, right? I set up Gene sets up a meeting, like a little tour of Bakersfield College for me. He's like, man, I'll take you up there. Don't worry about it, da-da-da-da. He drives me up there. We meet with the head coach. The head coach takes me to he will meet him at the college and shit. He's like, he owns a house right off campus. He was like, you be staying here with some of the teammates. I'm not really knowing how junior college life is, but it sounds exciting to me at the time. But we're touring through the school, buys us lunch and shit like that. And, he's like, I definitely want you to come. So we're leaving. I was going out for fullback too. Going to Bakersfield to play fullback. So when we're leaving and shit, he's like, man, set up a appointment to take your assessment test to get into college and this, that, and that. So that's what I did before we left. Now, to backtrack a little bit. Now, when I had got out, my brother and some of the homies that I know were taking this new drug I never heard of called Hell's Bells. And all that shit was like a white, it's a tree that grows these white flowers and shit. And that shit grew right across the street by these apartments in front of Grant High School. So them niggas would go over there, pluck them flowers, and you boil it in some water, make that shit like some tea, strain it out and shit, put a little sugar in it, you drink it. It's like a hallucinogen and shit. I don't suggest it at all for anyone. That shit'll have you tripping. That shit'll fuck you up, and it makes you blind the next day. The next day you'll be like, you can't see shit. Your eyes be blurry, and like you can't make out words or nothing. So anyway, they taking this shit the whole time I'm locked up in camp. So I don't find this out till I come home. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll try that shit when I come home. I try it. It just coming out. Excuse me, just getting out. First thing, all I want to do is just be outside. Watching cars pass in the streets, looking at just apartments, houses, seeing other people, being on the sidewalk, seeing trees and bushes and shit like that. That's all I want to be around. So, niggas used to be upstairs kicking it in my, because I stayed with my mom's at the time. I got released to my mom's address. So all of the niggas would come by and kick it, they smoking, they want to kick it in my room. I'm like, I'm going outside, homie. I need to be outside right now. So when I'm tripping off this shit, me and my brother, I told my brother one day, I'm tripping off of this shit. I'm like, I need to take a walk. He's like, man, just stay here. I'm like, I'm gone. He's like, fuck it, I'm gonna go with you. So we walking down the street, and next thing I know, I see the homies with me. My homie Kasim with me. I see him, but in actual reality, he's not there. I'm tripping. It's me, him, and my brother in my head and shit. And I'm talking to him. He's smoking a cigarette and shit. And what tripped me out was, I kept telling him, man, let me hit your cigarette. Let me hit your cigarette. And every time I went to grab it, I go like this. And I'll tell my brother, like, yo, I dropped my cigarette. I'm like, yo, I dropped my cigarette. And I tell the homie, like, my bad, I dropped that shit, homie. And my brother be grabbing me like, yo, you tripping, nigga. Kasim is not here. You don't have a cigarette, and this nigga is not here. I'm like, yeah, he is, man. He right there. What the fuck you mean? And I'm like, all right. And I take off walking again. The nigga pop up again, smoking a cigarette. I'm like, let me hit that cigarette, homie. I did this shit like 3 or 4 times. My brother at the end was like, yo, we're going home, nigga. He grabbed me. I'm like, I kept going. I dropped my cigarette. I dropped my cigarette. I dropped my cigarette. So anyways, that was my experience with that shit for the first time. And like a genius, it's time for me to go take this assessment test for Bakersfield College, right? I'm kind of freaking out. Anxiety kicking in. I'm freaking out. I'm drinking and shit, drinking beers, smoking trees and shit. Like, that's fucking trying to calm my anxiety, but that's actually just, I'm fucking up. I'm fucking up big time. That's the last thing you want to do before you go take a serious test. Is go get all fucked up. So, like a genius, I had made some Hell's Bells. I took that down right when Gene was like 10 minutes away. He was taking me back up there to take that test. The white dude from the camp, the film producer. So anyways, I get in the car with him, and I'm fucked up. Excuse me. I'm gone. I'm out of my fucking mind. Like, I really don't even, all I remember is getting in the car with him, and I just start yapping. I'm telling him about something. And all I remember him looking at me, and he's like, Matt, what are you talking about? And I don't remember what I was saying. He's like, all I remember saying, man, I can't take you up there like this. What are you on? I can't take you up there. So he pulls back around, drops me back over at the house. I'm like, all right, Gene, go back upstairs. Shit, call one of the homies, go kick it and shit, go to the park or something. But like, it's not registering in my head. I just super fucked up and damn near threw everything out the window, down the drain. So the next day he calls me, and I answer, and he's like, man, Matt. He goes, I don't know what you were on, man. He was like, but you kept telling me you were a gladiator and you were a fierce gladiator and you be killing motherfuckers. And I was like, what? I was like, what the fuck? But he kept saying that I kept telling him I was a gladiator, like a fierce warrior or some shit like that. Shit sound funny, man, but I'm just like, yo, I was tripping. So that's how I ended up fucking off Bakersfield and ended up going to Valley College. All right.